narcissistic wife must always win the argument. Even when objectively proven wrong, she crafts an elaborate narrative where she is completely blameless. He argues, she retorts. He presents crystal clear evidence, she twists it into an unrecognizable. She distorts the facingly that he begins to memory of her goal or resolution, but domination. Apology is forbidden because acknowledging too deep for her fragile ego. It spins every confrontation where he is the primary villain, or best, equally responsible for her misdeeds. Him perpetually exhausted. He stops fighting because he knows it is a battle he is psychologically engineered to lose. 9. She uses children or family as weapons. Translation. When children are present, they are instantly instrumentalized as pawns in her game. She frames him as the inadequate. If you truly cared about their future, you'd spend less time on your interests, or, they listen to me because I understand them, unlike you. She may subtly triangulate children against him by selecting conversations or portraying him as unnecessarily angry. Furthermore, his own parents and relatives become collateral damage. She spreads a convincing narrative to her family, that he is controlling, lazy, or emotionally abusive, thereby creating a powerful army of allies without his knowledge. He becomes trapped, not just by her, but by the elaborate, toxic narrative she's built around him in the eyes. Relentlessly in your growth. Focus on your physical health, mental clarity, and emotional strength. Rebuild the man she sought. A narcissistic wife may possess charm, wit, and beauty, but these qualities can never outweigh the damage caused by deception, and the systematic theft of your identity. To reclaim yourself is to step into an undeniable clarity, freedom, and self. It is to remember the manipulation took root, and to rise again, unshaken, unbroken, and unbound. Because no marriage, and no woman worth the loss of your true self. The mask that married him, unveiling the narcissistic wife. It always begins with an undeniable, intoxicating beauty. She was the sunlight in the dark room of his life, a woman who didn't just look at him, she saw him, or so he believed. Her eyes sparkled with genuine, affirming intensity when he spoke, her laughter was a melodic rap of pure acceptance, and she absorbed his every story as if he were the most fascinating man alive. He was convinced he had found his soulmate, the rare individual capable of finally understanding the core of his heart. This wasn't just love. It felt like a cosmic recognition. What he didn't grasp in those dazzling early days was that he was falling for a magnificent, living mirror. Every smile was perfectly calibrated to reflect his deepest desire. Every tear, every passionate, "I love you," was a calculated performance, rehearsed for maximum, devastating effect. Her charm was initially perceived as magic, later, it would feel like a cold, inescapable hypnosis. Because behind that warmth, that perfect facade, resided a mind obsessed with control, not connection. She possessed a heart that craved constant, fervent admiration, narcissistic supply, not genuine intimacy. And her spirit was governed by a profound, toxic fear of accountability that dwarfed her fear of loneliness. This is the crushing reality of marriage to a narcissistic wife. You don't merely lose your peace, your tranquility, or your joy, you lose your very. This is not a story of common arguments or everyday conflict. It is the narrative of a slow, deliberate theft of identity, a marriage that does not shatter in one dramatic moment but erodes the soul over a long, suffocated period. Inside this emotional labyrinth and uncover the 10 core ways a narcissistic wife systematically treats, diminishes, and controls her husband. 1. She makes him a slight effect. This starts subtly, with tiny perceptible verbal slights of, he will state, "You explicitly told me to cancel the reservation." She will respond with an icy calm, eyes wide with faint confusion, "I never said that. Be mistaken." Remembers the conversation, the place. Yet she insists, with such unwavering, that he begins to question the own memory. The doubt are planted, maybe acting. Maybe I am too sensitive. She reinforces this by calling him dramatic, unstable, or too emotional. Gaslighting is not allowed. Dramatic explosion, it is the slow, deliberate erosion of sanity. She denies conversations their original intent, cultivates confusion because confusion is her ultimate goal. While in public, she is charming, articulate, and perfectly collected, adds a continuous barrage of emotions, compelling him to rely on her distorted perception of reality instead of his own clear experience. Soon, he begins second-guessing everything, his feelings, his instincts, even his core sanity. And this his own thoughts, he is utterly pliable. Psychological, the narcissist's favorite game, turning solid truth into pliable clay and reshaping her flawless self-image. Every disagreement becomes a confrontation, a dizzying illusion. He starts offering apologies just to restore a fleeting moment of peace. 2. She uses affection as a weapon, not a gift. In the love bombing, her affection felt boundless, safe harbor of attention, intimacy, and warmth. He felt uniquely and chosen. But a fundamental shift occurs, not suddenly, but with a cruel, gradual subtlety. She begins a practice of intermittent reinforcement, withdrawing a thing or explanation. Shoulder in bed. A dry, perfunctory good night. And when he inevitably asks what is wrong, the answer is always the same, emotionless. This nothing becomes a form of affection instantly becomes a trait of currency. It when he is compliant and obedient, and withholds at the moment he questions his own needs. It was never about genuine love, it was always about leverage. She discovers that his desire for connection is her most potent power source. When she smiles, he feels relief. When she turns distant, he panics and rushes to fix it. This is the leash of the narcissist, forcing him to constantly switch off at a moment's notice. He becomes the apologetic pleaser, buying flowers, offering concessions, doing anything to earn her love. And each time, she grants him just enough warmth a bare minimum, to allow him to feel secure or safe. It's the cruel psychology of addiction. The high is so intoxicating he endures the lows, hoping they'll eventually. Her affection is not love, it is controlled in the costume of tenderness. 3. She publicly praises it, destroys him. To the outside world, the narcissistic wife is the paragon of marital devotion. She posts enviable pictures, speaks glowingly of him. He works so hard, I'm the luckiest woman alive. Her warmth and grace are widely admired. But the instant the door closes, the mask is peeled away. Tone turns instantly sharp, condescending. She mocks his aspirations, ridicules his body, criticizing, and compares him unfavorably in strangers. At home, he is consistently made to feel small and inadequate. In public, however, the performance continues without fail, because image is everything to a narcissist. She wants a perfectly polished prop who fabricated, perfect life story. She will actively charm his friends, family, and colleagues, securing a network of allies. When he finally reaches a breaking the truth, no one believes him. The charming, graceful, destructive manipulator. He learns to suffer in silence, isolated not physically, but socially. She becomes the ultimate, his private emotional smiling defense attorney. 4. She plays the victim to gain power, emotional inversion. The moment he tries to hold her, confront her hurtful behavior, he flips. Tears arrive instantly. Her shakes with manufactured disbelief. Did you say that to me after everything I sacrificed for this family? Suddenly, he is no longer the hurt party, he is the villain. He becomes the fragile, misunderstood saint, his inherent empathy awkwardly comforting her for the pain he caused by holding her accountable. This is emotional inversion, the sophisticated art of turning responsibility into every point out a wrongdoing. She finds a flawless counter-move to make him guilty for even noticing. If he says she accuses, "You're the one who's always angry." If he catches her in a lies, "You never trust me." If he says she's emotionally cold,